about today. So
Yeah.
Yeah, cool things.
yeah, actually, well,
Some of it's cool,
yeah.
I would say.
most of it's cool.
Like 40%. 40% is cool.
Yeah, the X-Men stuff is a mixed bag, but we might not even get to that. So,
or more good than bad, but the stuff that we think is probably going to be bad. It's kind of a meaty discussion.
yeah.
Anyway, let's dive into this fun little After Dark special of Phantom Zone. I'm Connor McGraw.
I'm Arlen Harrow.
I'm Erik Fedorchak.
I'm Hunter Davenport. I wanted to go last because I was building suspense.
I always feel like it's a Mexican standoff for the last two people.
It really is.
And so I feel like someone's always like, Alan.
Alan.
Alan's not here tonight. He's taking a little break. He'll be back soon.
Yeah, he visited an island of velociraptors. So, yeah.
Alan went to his home planet and he was poorly cropped off screen. He's been temporarily poochied.
God damn it.
Poochie died on the way back to his home planet.
I love that poochie can now be a thing.
Yes.
Poochie's great.
And I love
Steve's Ham is my favorite meme of 2018.
Yes. I love the fact that there is my favorite Simpsons sketch of all time is now the most popular it will ever be.
Yeah.
Did I describe Wally as being poochied in the last few runs of The Flash on TV?
I think you did.
At some point, I think.
Yeah, especially in Christ on Earth X.
I believe
Wally,
that
go do
term
this
was
thing.
used.
We're not going to show you what you do, though, but go do this thing.
You're going to protect the parents who don't matter.
You described it as a side quest we don't get to see.
Yeah, pretty close. Like, I imagine there's a whole plot line of the Nazis trying to get Cecile and Joe, and we just didn't see it. Guarantee that happened.
Cecile's getting superpowers, by the way.
Oh, totally.
Huh? What?
No, that's not conjecture. That's a synopsis.
God damn it.
Granted,
Right after she's done with
are,
Acrimony, the new Tyler Perry film.
Hers are it's just she can hear people's thoughts. That's it. So she's pretty much like she's the most. I'm like, okay, you're underpowered at least. You're not like they're not going to take you into the field.
Mm-hmm.
I figured she was going to have the singular power to be able to shut Joe down whenever she talks to him.
Honestly, I kind of wish she'd just be like the anti-iris, like under the anti-monitor.
God damn it.
She comes in. Iris, take a seat, okay? This is called a relationship, and there's two of you in it, not one of you.
I can hear your thoughts. You're going to say something stupid. Sit down.
She can just 404 people whenever she talks to them.
Oh my god, that was my favorite meme of that week. Joe, I'm pregnant. 404 page not found. Joe West plainface.jpg. Anyway, do we want to just get to Krypton first so we can get that?
Yeah, let's crack that old chestnut.
Okay, Can we approach this objectively, or are we
No.
all kind of...
No, we're all against this. None of us
No,
are.
there's no possible way.
Oh, it's okay. There, I don't want to call anyone out because I know. What if they listen? But I saw someone. I don't know if it was in the Phantom Zone Grace group or it was in Connor's status, but someone was like, "Why are you guys always so negative about this stuff?" Let me tell you why. It's bad.
Oh,
Yeah.
it was always so bitter. And I was like, first of all, I'm not bitter. I'm amused. Because this is hysterical.
Also,
It is hysterical.
yeah. And also, for one, I'm the sole defender of Cloak and Dagger, so no, we're not always negative about this stuff.
And yeah, we're not always negative about this stuff.
Also, I'm the biggest defender of Teen Wolf you'll ever meet. Your point is invalid.
Teen
Period.
Wolf is enjoyable on a sense that it's the subject matter is kind of interesting. Like,
Okay, here's the thing. If people, let me just ask this very realistic question, because I'm a little over being painted as this weird, cynical fuck. If I was that negative, do you really think I would watch 4 hours of the CW every fucking week?
No. You would have told Chris to fuck himself the first week that we did this.
Oh, wow.
You would have been like, Chris, we're not doing this podcast anymore.
That's going to be my point too. Is that out of anybody that whoever this person is knows on Facebook, they should know that you spend 4 hours every week when CW shows are on watching shows that, for all intents and purposes, shouldn't be as good as they are.
No.
So I think you have
Absolutely not.
a pretty good
Also,
barometer that
here's the
Krypton's going to
thing.
be bad.
Here's the thing: people only seem to want to turn their head and acknowledge my brand of nonsense, which is that's what it is. It's not. This is not serious, everybody. This is a game. It's a joke. It's all gag to me. I'm trying to have fun, but it's also serious. So take me very seriously. Everything I say is fact.
I deserve your respect.
Yes.
Don't get upset when I insinuate David Cage is a creepy fuck.
When I go on Facebook, I'm like, hey, this shit's great, and I think everybody should fucking listen to it or read it or watch it or do whatever. If someone goes, low and distant guy going, good job, and then I'm like, Sonic is bad. Everyone's like,
Well, actually, Sonic was a very big part of my youth, and
Okay, I'm gonna be real here. When people say it to me, I don't give a fuck about your childhood.
Yeah, fuck your
there's
child.
also that too, but like, I feel like people get worked up the most when I'm like, hey, I didn't like this thing. Oh, you're always so bitter. No, not really. I'm actually very happy.
No,
Yeah.
So people have selective memory. Like, we talked about this off mic, but like, Rotten Tomatoes. People freak out over Rotten Tomatoes and they say, well, I never agree with Rotten Tomatoes. They're always wrong. They never like the things that the fans like. Is
Well,
that true? Or are
Who
you
is
just
the operative they in this question?
right? Or are you just selectively remembering all the times they've disagreed with you and leaving out all the times they've completely agreed with you to make your point more valid? Because you're lying to yourself.
See, I don't like Rotten Tomatoes because I think it's fucking busted, but that's just me.
I know, but you're not the person who says Rotten Tomatoes is wrong because it disagrees with me. You have like that's a different topic, and a lot of people have that opinion, and they're all wrong. It doesn't disagree with them. So
Maybe I'm an outlier here, but when I look at Rotten Tomatoes, I actually look at the individual reviewers and will read the reviews from them.
First of all, if you're that serious about like reading critical reception, go read actual reviews because sometimes they're pretty damn fun.
Yeah.
Especially when something's getting banned, that's really fun to read because not just because something's getting ripped apart, but just the creative use of words that people use to rip it apart is a hoot.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's fun.
Yeah.
Anyway, Krypton looks like the most unnecessary thing I've seen. This show, in one breath, justifies Gotham's existence.
It's Gotham in space, so no, it doesn't.
It's Gotham worse
It's
because here's
sci-fi
the thing.
Gotham.
No, it's worse. Here's why. Because Gotham is like, yeah, okay, like this, like, there's nothing that Gotham isn't using that isn't like completely disposable and forgettable and is only used for one thing. It's just using all the stuff it has poorly. And Krypton's like, we're going to take this one tiny little thing, Planet Vegeta, and we're going to put a show on this planet, and the plot's going to be somebody's coming to destroy the planet. I must save it. Well, we know you're not going to.
Yeah.
Well,
And
Yeah.
also, the stuff with Adam Strange makes no sense whatsoever.
Adam Strange is the dumbest
that's the
fucking
most-
choice.
See, that's the most forced part of it. It's like we want to have a conflict about someone trying to save Krypton from getting blown up, but that's too predictable because obviously it does. So they shoehorn in this time travel element, and that's also gonna fail.
Here's the thing: it's not even the time travel that I don't like. It's that it's Adam Strange traveling back in time.
Yeah,
That's the part that's
the weird
wrong.
part. It's weird.
Again,
Like,
I brought it,
why would?
yeah, like I brought it up in the chat. So is it Booster that's traveling back in time? Because that's a character.
I feel like everything
That's
that should
known
have
for
been
time
Booster
travel?
Gold-
Yeah.
I feel like every time something should have been Booster Gold, it's just that meme of a guy getting thrown out of an office building.
It is. It is. Hey, maybe I should be in this
Gold,
show.
get out.
What they if you give the CW enough time, Booster Gold will show up.
Really?
I mean,
Because
the fucking...
Is Rip
They've had quite
Booster's
a while.
son or father? I can't remember. But by this point, Booster should have been there. He makes sense, and he should have been on the shows by
and
now.
honestly, I'm sure in a different universe, the Ray was Booster Gold.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
Totally. And I
Well,
think,
correct me if I'm wrong with the trailer. So they imply that something is coming to destroy Krypton.
Oh
It's
no,
not...
they full on show it. They even say
Yeah.
something is coming to destroy Krypton, and they show some kind of weird thing.
oh, it's Brainiac.
So they're
It's
completely
Brainiac.
ignoring the storyline from the comics that hasn't really been altered. That it was Kryptonians destroyed Krypton with their mining of whatever,
well, depending on what universe you're in, like the Injustice universe, Brainiac destroyed Krypton.
Right.
okay.
In some versions, it is Brainiac. But here's the problem. The biggest problem with the show for me is this is supposed to be the MOS continuity. This is supposed to be the film continuity.
No, don't do that.
Wait. This is officially branded DCEU TV?
Yes, it is supposed to be. That's why Goyer is one of the...
What the
fuck? He's not the showrunner, but he created it. He created the show. It's supposed to be DCEU. This is their version of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. for all intents and purposes. And this is what they did. If this was Gotham, where it's a completely different universe, there's less... I take less offense to that. I take less offense to Gotham because it's not supposed to be tied in to the Dark Knight, right? It's not that continuity,
especially
it's not
because that show's
things.
definitely ending with Jim Gordon putting on a batsuit. So
right, yeah. So the
Batman
fact
with
that
the
this
cigarette
is,
in his mouth.
Yeah, this just flies in the face of the beginning of Man of Steel. If that is the case, if there really is some sort of monster coming that's going to cause...
wait a minute,
Krypton to blow up.
hang on. Okay, so let's assume it's a separate apocalypse that they somehow...
Maybe
They somehow avoid
that their grandpa
undone.
stops.
They're then undone by a second apocalypse a generation later. You fuckers deserve it.
Yeah.
They do. The L family deserves all of it. I mean, maybe stopping the second apocalypse starts the next one. I don't
Stop
know.
the big scary alien from the planet. All right, let's continue these mining excavations.
Yeah, let's destroy our planet. Awesome. Oh
Yeah,
no.
It's party like it's 14. However, Kryptonians date their years.
No, watch. In a year from, if the show is still going a year from now, they'll change it. And say this is just an Elseworlds thing, or like this is not related to the films at all.
So
I still maintain the first shot of that show is going to be Krypton exploding.
most likely.
And then they're going to be like, and that's how the planet ended.
See,
but that's not the whole story.
I made a joke on I think it was the DCTV Facebook page. I was like, spoilers, everybody dies. A lot of people laughed at it. And some people were a little bothered by it, to say the least.
What? Okay. At what point do you just accept that they're dead?
I was like, look, and I wasn't trying to be mean, but I was like, look, the show is ending one of two ways: a cancellation or the planet's blowing up. That's it.
Yeah.
I can tell you which one it's going to be. It's not going to be the planet blowing up.
First of all, let's put our feelings aside. Let's imagine it's good, and we're fooled. However, take a look at that fucking show and tell me it'll survive 5 years on that budget. It looks expensive as all hell.
it does. It looks very expensive, yet still looks cheap at the same time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It looks like money was spent everywhere. I'm like, everything looks practical. Like everyone's in big ridiculous costumes. Looks like they're using a lot of CG. Sci-fi has a budget, but then you go watch their movies and you're like, yeah, clearly they like to cut corners.
Well, those are movies that they buy from what the fuck? I don't remember the name of the company, but they're the same people who do like Transmorphers. Or whatever.
Transmorphers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Asylum Pictures.
Yeah, they buy their
Asylum,
movies from
yeah.
Asylum at this point, and American Worldwide. I don't remember.
The fucking stones on you to be like, fuck it, Transmorphers.
Yeah, I love it so much.
Chop kick panda.
Or even more ballsy is fuck it, Battle Los Angeles.
Yeah.
My favorite is Atlantic Rim. That's just
Yeah. What the fuck?
Only because that could be really unfairly confused with the sequel, and that's not cool.
yeah.
With
some poor dude this summer's like, oh, the third one's out already. That's weird.
Mm-hmm.
So with Krypton, something I just thought of that could have actually made the show interesting is just say it's like a limited event. Like just have it be like
Right.
8 or 10 episodes and that's it.
Dude,
Like-
here's the thing, and this is what I wanted from Gotham. I don't want a fucking Gotham show that focuses on characters I already know.
Mm-hmm.
Me in places where I would not be normally found in a Batman story.
Right, but give us like hints and like the DNA of things that might be, you know, like
How people living, it sucks to be there. Show me why being a cop in Gotham is probably the fucking worst police job in the country.
Mhm.
Gotham had the perfect guideposts that they could have just used the Brubaker written Gotham PD
Right.
or whatever. I can't remember the exact comic series, but yeah, it was just cops in Gotham.
I believe it was Gotham Central. If I'm
Gotham Central,
mistaken.
you're correct.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and it was a phenomenal series, and you ran into the Joker once in it, and he was only in there for maybe 2 issues, and I don't think Batman made an appearance once in the entire run.
Yeah, because it's like being a cop in Gotham sucks, and
Yeah.
then there's Batman, and you're like, great. Not only am I like completely helpless in a war against crime, where not only are like the regular mob families completely overpowered, but now we have like theatrical and superhuman villains
Right.
who I can't deal with, and on top of that, my legs are constantly being cut off underneath me as a cop by a dude in a more expensive high-techy suit.
Right, like
Yeah.
imagine living
It
in a
blows.
world where every day is either The Godfather or Seven. That's every day. That's every day. Every day of your entire life as a cop is one of
that's
those
like
two
Fox
movies.
quote.
God.
That is your
Yeah.
entire life. Also, there's a guy dressed as a fucking bat who's beating up people with his bare hands.
Like you go home and someone's like, "So what happened today? Was there a Tommy gun shooting on the steps of City Hall, or did a head show up in a package with a little smile written on it?" Like,
Or did a giant amorphous pile of clay turn into someone else and then trick everyone and murder the person they were going after?
Right. It's just like,
Yeah.
and Krypton, you could do the same stuff. Like,
and see with Krypton, if you're like a limited engagement with Krypton, do the last 10 days on Krypton, but have me follow various people.
right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That is great.
Yeah.
Or like,
Let me see, like, how does an entire species deal with the fact that like our planet's gonna blow up pretty soon?
mm-hmm. And like the beginning of Man of
What do we do?
Steel, I remember seeing like a picture, and it's like the guy who plays Death in Supernatural. He's on a bunch of TV shows, but he's like the head of like the council on Krypton.
Oh, yeah.
Right? He like lists off a bunch of other alien races that are all from the comics, right? I think he lists the Owens, he lists the Thanagarians. I would like to see what interspace politics is like in the DC universe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
That'd be cool. I'd be
What
into that.
happens when the Thanagarians send somebody to meet with the Kryptonians? What is that like? And how do they interact with each
This
other?
is probably a cool chance to do something with a planet that is Krypton's barely ever explored on the page, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Nah.
Yeah,
And their interactions with other races isn't explored either.
Yeah.
Like you don't get the sense of what their seating was in space. Were they respected? Were they liked by other races, or were they disliked by other races?
And here's the thing: like, either you go full on and be like, no, let's do a show about what it's like to live on Krypton. Let's forget about the whole world blowing up thing, or embrace it and do like a fucking not quite as sad as that Steve Carell movie, but something along those lines. Or just have me live there for a while. Don't short in this apocalypse whole thing, because, like I said, Krypton, Alderaan, and Planet Vegeta all have one thing in common: they are props,
Right?
for a plot to fucking bounce off of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is it.
And the one of those that has the most like juice to it, and we talked about this on Facebook, is Alderaan. Because Alderaan is the beginning of the revolution. It's the beginning of the rebellion. So that would actually be an interesting thing to see. But like, Vegeta would not be interesting at all.
No, because everything that's interesting with Saiyans happens off of planet Vegeta. It happens everywhere else. Because as soon as Frieza found them, he's like, "Why are you all? No, get them off this rock. Put them places. They can do things." Like,
Yeah, they'll just be fighting with each other, but
They're all
if we
just-
use them.
They're all just idiots, essentially. Kinda. They're just all kind of dumb.
They're idiots,
like,
but they're
who's
very
calling them-
strong.
Who's it calling them monkeys?
And they
Like,
turn into monkeys.
Yeah, no, that's like looking like you probably look at it in the same way we look at apes. Like they're really they have such potential, but they're also flinging poo at each other. So we have to kind of fix this.
Well, that's my question: is do they ever establish with Planet Vegeta that when the moon rise there, or does it not affect them like it does
It's
the moon
one
on Earth?
giant moon.
Yeah,
it
they
does.
have a big move.
And
Okay.
And I can't believe I remember this. And I hate myself for remembering this. But originally, the reason that they even have any technology is that there was one side of the planet that weren't Saiyan, and they didn't turn into giant apes, and they had
Okay.
technology.
Wait a minute. I just had a terrible
That
thought.
wasn't even Planet Vegeta to begin with. It was a separate planet that wasn't known for anything, and one race was like, "Fuck those people, let's take over."
Mhm.
I just had a very, very terrible thought.
What?
So how old is Dragon Ball Evolution?
Mm.
Oh no. Oh no.
It's approaching 10 years.
Oh no.
Okay. All right. Just remember that, guys.
No,
It's on-
no, it's banned. It's banned.
You're a
It's
bad
on the
person.
horizon.
No,
you're a bad
if three of us
person.
vote against it, it is banned. Three
No,
of us
I'm not voting
will vote
against it. I'm just making a statement of Hunter's bad personitude.
I will sway this election.
We can shift that to a movie dumpster crossover.
Okay, fine. Here's the thing: when you say crossover, I'm okay with it.
I'm good with that.
Because the suffering is shared more.
Right? Yeah.
But yeah, I just don't see a whole lot of interest in diving into Krypton.
Not the
Nope.
version that
Unless
they
you're-
presented us. Not
No, not. I mean, based entirely from what they're showing me, which is the intent of showing me this in the first place is to make me feel something. I'm like, no thanks.
Mm-hmm. Right. It's just a show about Krypton. What does sound interesting?
Yeah, but
not-
I don't give. Is Superman's grandpa really that important, or are they
No.
making him important?
If he was like
I
a
don't know.
side character, that would be more interesting to me. Like, what were the L's like 100 years before? Were the L's even a notable house, really? They've never really explored that before, and every version of canon that you talk about is different. The L's importance changes throughout which interpretation of Superman that you're reading. So it would be
Well, how
interesting.
the whole of Krypton changes based on which writer is handling it.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah, so... I guess we can move on from Krypton, I guess.
Yeah, I think we've kind of established our stance on that place.
What was the other What was the other thing that wasn't quite so good that was coming up?
Well, Venom. I don't know.
Well, okay. We haven't seen anything really from Venom. What we have seen could possibly be from another movie if we were discussing.
Everything we've seen from Venom is just Tom Hardy out on the town.
Yeah,
and
no.
that's it.
Tom Hardy goes to a library in a French sweater.
Right. In other
Yeah.
words,
He's a notebook.
he's dressed
He's a
like
notebook.
Nathan Drake.
He
It's a
is.
notebook. And if you use a forensic computer to analyze the notebook he's using, you can kind of see in really pixelated, fuzzy words, "Live Foundation."
Okay.
There you go. That's your larger connection to the Spider-Man universe, people.
Wow.
Great.
I'm so excited.
Great.
Actually, you know what? I am excited for this movie in the sense that I'm excited to come out so I can see what the fuck it is.
I'm
I'm-
gonna be there day one because I'm like, what is this freak show you've assembled?
Yeah, I just need to see it. And if it's good, I'll be shocked. If it's bad, I won't be as shocked. But
Same.
I'm excited for it to come out just so I can join Twitter again and at Todd McFarlane and say, look what happened before Spawn did, and then quit Twitter forever.
Look what happened in the. First of all, wasn't the Venom movie kind of like, it's not really happening? And then Todd McFarlane was like, hey, in a couple days, gonna have a Spawn announcement, and in that time frame, Sony's like, Venom's happening, got Tom Hardy, got director, next year, see ya, bye.
You're not wrong. They did happen very close to each other. Like and I understand why, because Spawn is he's just Venom with chains and a cape. It's
he's
the same.
Venom. Venom. He's kind of Ghost Rider. He's like
It is the same.
Todd McFarlane
Deadpool,
kind of copied his
kinda.
own character.
Yeah.
I mean,
You know, at least all this is happening before we ever see that Gambit movie.
no. Here's the thing:
I feel like the Gambit movie is going to be a punchline for a long time.
the
Fucking
movie
Gore
based off
Verbinski.
of Lauren Scholler Donner's Lady Boner. That's the only reason it happened. It will never come out. I guarantee it. I get the feeling that this movie will be in production woes until Disney officially takes over, and then they'll finally cancel it, or they'll reboot the project with a different
You know what'll
team.
happen? They'll cancel it. They'll cancel it.
Yeah,
Because
and then maybe they bring it back a couple years later, but this version will never happen. I don't think.
Nope.
They would bring it back probably like 10 years down the line from when after they get the first few X-Men movies under the Disney banner out.
My one regret for all of this is I will never hear Channing Tatum using that goddamn accent.
Creole accent saying "Mon ami."
Mon ami.
I mean,
Ooh.
I think it would have just been the accent that he used in Lucky Logan. It just wasn't the accent. Like,
It probably would have.
it would have been generic Southern accent. I don't think it would have been anything special or specific. But I mean, I would have watched it. Whatever. I mean,
First of all, like Taylor Kitsch, that poor guy.
yeah,
Every time he has an opportunity, the universe just takes it from him.
yeah. I mean,
And it's never any fault of his own.
No, he's fine.
he's one of the best parts of True Detective season 2.
Yes. And that's unfair to him because like he is actually it's unfair to pretty much everybody in that show. It's like you're in the follow-up to a super critically acclaimed, like really good like TV thriller. And then like the end of it just results in this big fucking fart, and you're like, how? Look what you have. Like you have Rachel McAdams, Vince Vaughn, Taylor Kitsch. Like what did you do?
They rushed it. HBO even came out and admitted, like, yeah, maybe we shouldn't have pushed it so quickly.
Yeah, they made Taylor Kitsch a gay soldier with mommy issues. It was really weird.
And like one of the weirdest things about it is like you're watching it, you're like this isn't offensively stupid, but you're like, when's it gonna get good instead of just meh?
Yeah, that's kind of how my wife and I felt watching it. Was like each episode, we're like, it's gonna get better next time. It's gonna get better next time. Oh, it's over. Oh,
yeah.
Oh.
I remember.
It's like it's a deep breath followed by just like death. Like
It's like
much.
these
There's
characters are interesting, and then that's it. Like they never get beyond being interesting.
because like True Detective season 1, you're like, yeah, Matthew McConaughey's a little crazy. Okay, he might be a little touched. Okay, he is literally H.P. Lovecraft. What is happening?
Yeah.
And Woody Harrelson's kind of a jerk. No, Woody Harrelson's a fucking asshole.
But with the first season of it too, like each episode they gave you all of these red herrings that you're just like, oh, that's what's going on. Oh my God, what is that weird stuff? Oh, are there going to be cosmic monsters in this? Wait, what?
Yes.
What?
And then at some point you're like, no, you're gonna do it, aren't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
It dips its like big toe into the water of like full blown cosmic sci-fi and then takes it back out real fast.
Yeah. But it still leaves enough. I think it still leaves enough questions. Like I think the Yellow King might have been possessed personally, but I don't know. Or he might just be crazy. I think that's the cool thing. We're on a True Detective side tangent because that's how much we don't care about Venom.
Well, last
Okay,
thing I want to mention, one thing I wanted to mention about Taylor Kitsch was that I feel the biggest issue or the biggest tragedy for him was John Carter of Mars, because that movie is great and people are assholes for not watching it. But that's all I gotta say.
They should have called it John Carter of Mars. That's the first problem.
Yeah.
They just called it John Carter.
John Carter.
John Carter.
And marketing should have actually sold it as a sci-fi adventure instead of 5 different films.
Yeah, totally.
Well, isn't there an urban legend in Hollywood that you can't put Mars in your film title because it will bomb?
I think there's something like that.
And it's because I think Mission to Mars is apparently a massive flop. So the rip-off follow-up was called Red Planet. And then
that's more of a Deep Impact Armageddon type of thing.
Well, and then Mars Needs Moms came along and I think destroyed that studio.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it continued with John Carter because they're like, no, we can't call it John Carter from Mars. It'll tank.
In the 21st century, it's definitely a thing of like people want to do Mars. When the last successful movie about Mars is that movie with not Pee Wee Herman, the one guy who
Rowan Atkinson.
French Stewart?
No, he was a comedian.
Mr. Bean?
No, he's not Pee Wee Herman, but he's very similar to Pee Wee Herman. He did a movie on Disney Channel. I don't know if it ever came out in theaters.
Alan Cummings?
No, god damn it! I need to look this movie up now. But it's a movie where
lost.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
He
like,
goes
the
to
cover of it
space.
is him in like an inflated spacesuit.
yes, and like he farts. It's like,
Yeah.
and then like there's a monkey or whatever. It's a weird Mars movie. I don't know if it was actually
Yeah.
successful or
Fuck?
not.
I know exactly what you're talking about,
There's
but
a
I
movie-
can't think of the actor.
I can't. But they pinned it. He was like a comedian. I guess he was a thing in like the mid '90s. I don't know. He has a weird voice. He's like he's the cop in Me, Myself, and Irene, I think, who pulls over Jim Carrey and he like drinks a bottle of piss. I might be mixing up my movies completely. Because Jim Carrey's been like
I
peeing
feel like I'm
into
on
like
acid
bottles
right
of.
now.
I feel like I'm on acid, trying to remember this actor's name.
He's like the perfect mix between French Stewart and the guy who wasn't Joe Pesci in Home Alone.
Right.
Who is this guy?
If I show you a picture of this guy, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But I have to figure out his name first. Shit. Whatever. Let's move on to a different topic, and I'll figure this out because
Let's close out Venom.
I'm gonna
properly.
Google Me, Myself, and Irene piss cop. See what comes up.
He does come up, but it doesn't show his name. Anyways,
To close out on Venom, Hunter said something about the fact like we don't know what this movie is. That's not inaccurate because they're not showing us anything. Like, this movie comes out this year, right?
I think so.
yeah.
Yeah, it is this
We have
year.
nothing. We don't have a synopsis. We don't have a teaser. We don't have any like pre-production photos really. There's really no like kind of on-set photos that show much of anything.
Yeah, it's basically nothing, really. It's
They
just...
usually by this time you at least see Venom like once, right? I feel
A
like
concept
Yeah,
art,
or like
something.
or like a shadowy picture of Tom Hardy half naked. That's what I would have expected. And he has like scars, right? And like maybe his arm has symbiote on it. That's what I would expect.
Like
right?
what happened when we found out that Deadpool was going to be rated rated R?
Oh, we freaked out.
There was a fucking marketing blitz. Like Ryan Reynolds dressed as Deadpool dropped a stage light on Mario Lopez. Okay.
Yeah,
that was pretty great.
I don't remember what the first photo of him in costume was, but
it was very far out.
yeah. Also, Harlan Williams is the name of the guy that I am thinking of.
Oh, okay.
That guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, we have nothing, and I guess Tom Hardy wears that little bracelet thingamajig in every movie, so now it just looks more like Tom Hardy doing nothing.
Yeah. Film is called Rocket Man. It is a Disney film.
That's
Oh my God! Yes, I remember.
Yep.
What?
Yep.
What the fuck? What podcast am I on right now?
It stars William Sadler. Oh my God, William Sadler.
Fuck.
Yikes.
Yep.
Jessica Lundy from The
Who?
Stupids.
Oh,
Oh.
yeah, the illustrious, the stupids.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
And
triumph
Jeffrey
of
D.
cinema.
Munn. Yeah, look up Rocket Man. But the movie.
No, look up Harlan Williams' filmography in a 2010 film that was called Fudgy Wudgy Fudge Face.
It looks so weird. Oh my God.
No thanks.
What the hell is wrong with the world? Okay. Yeah. Venom, there's nothing to get us excited. Again, if this was if this was an announcement for the Uncharted movie, I would be excited because they would also be announcing casting on that movie other than, oddly enough, Peter Parker as Nathan Drake, which...
Yeah, wait, huh?
That was an announcement months ago that they announced.
Oh yeah, I forgot they did that.
They did that. Nobody has remembered it because nothing has come out about it since.
Wait, I'm sorry. What was this news item?
Kid who plays Peter Parker, he's playing Nathan Drake in a
Tom
film.
Holland?
Yes.
Holland is playing Nathan Drake?
Yep.
Yeah,
Because they're
That's
going
weird.
straight to the
It's a prequel.
young Drake part of the game.
it's a prequel movie.
Sure.
Fuck's sake.
Because
Fuck
that's
off,
what
Sony.
people
Sure.
want. That's what we
Yeah.
all want.
Thank you for actually preempting what I was going to say with that, because why would you put any faith in Sony when we all had access to those emails?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When you looked at what they want to do with this property and saw that they were clearly out of their minds?
Yeah. No, I haven't had
Yeah.
faith in Sony in a long time. When Sony's name comes up, I'm like, oh, this is going to be bad. This is going to be bad.
I mean,
at
this is
this
the same
point.
studio who pushed the Emoji Movie out, and is now working on like another movie like Emoji. It's just
Yeah.
as soulless and tactless,
They don't know what they're doing.
just bad.
Just drowning and trying to grab for whatever they can.
Yeah. It's,
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, that's really all there is to say about Venom at this point. Like, it's happening,
Yeah.
which is more than we can see
Mhm.
with other things, like Spawn, Gambit, or Akira. Stop trying. Just stop.
but Battle
So, I
Angel
remember
Alita is
seeing-
actually happening.
I remember seeing headlines on bloodydisgusting.com years ago, like as a teenager seeing like Akira movie in development. I'm like, I've never seen Akira.
It's why would you want to adapt that to live action? Is the biggest question I have.
First of
Like,
all, who would look at that even in the manga in the anime form and go, no? I mean, like,
yeah,
not, I mean, you would look at that and say, yeah, I can do that. You look at that and go, no, I can't do that. Like,
yeah,
what they changed the ending of Watchmen because I think the casual
It's
audience would
fucking
be like,
weird.
mean he built giant alien squids
Well, even outside of that, it
and
would.
blew them up. And
it
then
would-
with Akira, it's like, what do you mean he turned into a giant pile of stomachs and tumors and metal and stuff?
Well, that and with Watchmen, the original ending, they would have had to add an additional hour just to
Just to
explain
what
how.
the fuck was happening.
Well, no, beyond that, explain like, oh, why are all these writers and artists and all these people disappearing to this island?
Yeah.
Because that was a big part of the plot line too. That's what they're originally investigating, and that's how the comedian eventually found out about what was going on.
And they all get blown up.
Yep. Yeah.
And the same thing I feel with Akira, because one, I don't think you could properly get through what Akira actually is in a 2-hour movie.
It's
No.
a goddamn fucking giant metaphor.
It's a consciousness,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's like the anime does an okay job, but you're still like, I get it.
Yeah, you need to read the manga to really understand what that entire series
Because I saw
was.
the anime, I haven't read the manga at all, and everyone tells me that the anime is very abridged.
Yeah,
I guess it cuts out an entire section.
Yeah.
Basically, the end of the anime is the halfway point of the manga.
It's
Whoa.
almost like the anime is bad because that is the case. One might say.
No,
Well,
it's
if one
not because
has
it's
no-
beautiful animation and
If
the
one
music
has
is
no
unbelievable.
marriage to the source material, then one can judge that movie on its own merits, and it's fine. So
Whatever.
just like how Death Note on Netflix is a piece of trash.
No, because anime is unadaptable. Let's be real here.
No, yeah,
I
that's
mean,
it's
true.
It's not.
That,
it
that
doesn't-
is
doesn't
very
work.
True.
It's not true, and I'll tell you the few cases, and that's all 3 Rurouni Kenshin movies. That's it.
And fucking what is the name of that movie that just came out?
Blade
It's
of the
like
Immortal.
Blade of the Immortal. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that too.
Well, isn't that a Takashi Miike film as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
Mm.
there's some of them that you could do. Like I could see if Guillermo del
okay.
Toro was gonna do Blood, right?
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
That would work.
Here's the thing. Most anime that people want to be adapted in live action shouldn't be.
True.
That's
Like
the thing.
Evangelion.
Like all these mainstream, like let's say, fucking Dragon Ball Z, for example. Don't do that. Stop.
Yeah.
Why you keep trying?
Well, as we discussed, Dragon Ball is only good when you take a step back and go, look how stupid this all is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
And I would argue Dragon Ball is more adaptable than Dragon Ball Z.
Yes, because Dragon Ball is very grounded. It's like, this is kind of a quirky mystical adventure about kung fu kids and all kinds of things.
It's
Being
an
a cool
adaptation
fighter.
of Journey to the West.
Yeah,
so.
and then like Dragon Ball Z comes along, and episode 1, aliens show up and say one of them says he's your brother, and then Piccolo's a slug man,
Yeah.
and then Space Emperor, and then Candyman and regenerating Bugman. So
Right. Yeah. That's just...
Mhm, yeah.
Oh,
all
and
that, yeah.
let's not
Not necessarily
forget
that order.
time-traveling cyborgs.
Oh, yeah.
Because the creator of Dragon Ball, not a fan of Terminator at all. No, never say that.
Well, guys, we're also forgetting that Battle Angel Alita is coming out live.
Right.
holy
Which-
fuck, that movie looks so fucking. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Quality aside, it visually looks like puke.
yeah.
James
CG?
Cameron has
She
spent
looks
too
like-
much time
It's
underwater.
because it was shot on 3D. That's why.
Yes.
She looks like
He has the
like a-
bends.
She looks
Yeah.
like a PS3 render.
Yep.
She.
It's
I don't-
hydrogen psychosis on film.
Why?
It's hydrogen psychosis put onto film.
Here's the
Why?
part.
Who told him? Who told him the eyes were a good idea?
Well, let's-
the aliens from
guys-
the abyss. They told him it was a good idea.
Here's the thing. The eyes is one thing. Like you gave her big old anime eyes. Okay, that's a little insensitive, but okay. And it's played by a Spanish girl. You stupid fuck.
Yeah.
To be fair, the character is supposed to be Spanish, is my understanding. The
She
story.
is.
So yeah.
Okay,
Really,
I know that.
I in the
I
comic
was,
or at
I
least
was
the
led to
manga,
believe that she was supposed to be based on a Japanese person.
she's just a robot or
Yeah,
like that.
I
that,
mean,
that
That's been my problem
finds.
with a lot of this stuff, is robot characters do not necessarily have a nationality. You're just
Yeah.
assuming that they do. They, by default, don't.
Well, here's where I found there's something coming out on Netflix. If we're going to do this rabbit hole real fast, there's something coming out on Netflix soon. I don't think it's based on anything, and I can't remember the name of it, but Joel Kinnaman's in it, and Joel Kinnaman's playing a character named like Yoshio Takada.
That is
Yes.
based off of a book.
So,
Okay, yeah, and he is playing it's what is it like? After people die, they basically come back. Like they could be resurrected a certain number of times.
Oh,
I
know what you're talking about, and I can't remember the name of it.
His original form is a Japanese man. He dies. He's brought back as Joel Kinnaman. I'm like, you fucking cocksuckers! Like,
really.
It makes me want to make him like
you
adapt
just
something.
don't fucking learn.
It makes me want to adapt something. Let's say what is the whitest thing I can think of? Let's say I adapt Cheers. All right, let's adapt Cheers to a movie,
Okay.
and then I just make them all Asian people.
Just all
Right.
Japanese.
All Asian.
The name of the show is Kampai.
But you changed nothing about it.
people. Change nothing. They're all Asians.
So they're Asian people playing people from Boston
Yes.
who are just look up pictures of people from Boston.
Yeah, I know. I've lived adjacent to it my whole life.
And my thing is like, it wouldn't be. I mean, no, it's bad because like the whole Gods of Egypt thing also happened too. But like, I was thinking about Prince of Persia the other day for some reason that just popped into my head, and I was like, Jake Gyllenhaal was the Prince of Persia.
Okay, it's Takeshi Kovacs. That's his name.
There we go.
What?
Yes.
Kovacs is that throws it off a little bit. I don't know the character's name in the book.
What is the name of the book?
I believe it is Altered Carbon. That's the name of the show.
It is. That's
Okay.
That's it.
But
Okay.
Kovacs really okay, I'm willing to give them some leeway here. Not a lot of leeway. Kovacs only gives you 50% leeway.
It's like, but it's the Ghost in the Shell problem where they're like, well, yeah, you used to be a Japanese woman, but then we rebuilt you in what we thought was the most beautiful form. All white woman. Good job, guys.
Yeah.
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 I'm sorry, real quick, going back to the idea of Cheers with all Japanese or Asian people. I'm specifically going with Japanese. I'm just imagining Norm as a salaryman coming in and just, Norm, how was your day? Oh, it was very dishonorable to my boss. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Hey. Too close there, Jesse.
Takeshi Kovacs is a former UN elite soldier, native of Harlan's world, settled by the Japanese and Eastern European people. So that's a little context for that thing. So yeah, that's the thing that I just found. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what we're talking about.
We're talking about anime adaptations because Akira is not going to be filmed.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Not going to happen.
Yeah. You know what shouldn't have been fucking filmed?
Dragon Ball Evolution?
No. Because that's too old. This is recent.
Oh,
The new
God.
Hellraiser?
It's
We're only talking about this because I knew it would come up eventually. So
I'm not that big fan of Hellraiser. I don't think.
That's fine. It's fine. That's a forgivable thing because
It's really great they decided to make a Silent Hill Part 4 movie.
Oh no, that's where I take issue with this. Stop that right now. You
Here's my
leave my
thing.
beloved out of this.
Here's my thing. I cherish the first two Hellraiser movies. The third one is okay. The fourth one is fine. Is the fourth one that's the one in space, or is there one between?
Yeah, it's the fourth one in space.
Two are great. The next
Third
two
one
are
has CD face. Come on, man.
does, yes.
Yeah.
And it has the fantastic
Camera guy.
I am the way scene too, where Pinhead goes into church and takes his own pins out and puts them in his hands and does a Christ pose.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, that's fucking blasphemous, and bravo on you. That's
Yikes.
I love those movies. I love Pinhead as a character because Pinhead is easily the best part of any Hellraiser movie, right up until the last one,
Bobby
Where-
Moynihan.
where they took
I have
They
such
took-
delicious treats to show you.
one of the most
Uncle.
exquisitely designed characters of all time, and like, I don't know how much more they could have fucked this up. I think Doug Bradley, like, when he was in talks for Revelations, the last Hellraiser movie, he was like, "Can I see a script?" And they were like, "No." And he's like, "Well, fuck you then."
I'm looking at Pinhead right now. Did you know he was voiced by Fred Tatasciore?
What?
Yeah, he was. For I don't know in what movie, but it said on his Wikipedia page it says he is.
Interesting.
So
Now,
you
Doug
wanna-
Bradley's always been.
You want to know something interesting? Pinhead is never credited in the first Hellraiser movie. It looks
He
like.
is. Yeah, he's called Lead
Yeah.
Cenobite.
Oh
Yep.
wow, that's interesting.
Yeah. And in the book Hellbound Heart, I believe his role is filled by someone who's similar but is androgynous, and kind of a bit more ambiguous in general.
Huh.
Oh yeah, they in the
Know less
novelette,
about them.
in the novella, they don't really go into too much detail about the Cenobites. From what I remember, it's been years since I read that. So
Yeah.
Xenobites. I think the Xenobites are the coolest parts of those movies, though.
They are, because there's a lot to them just by looking at them. Their design is their character. Like everything you're looking at them and going, everything about you is a metaphor for what you were before this.
Yeah.
And then like it's that message is just like as it gets on and on, it's like, well, he's a bartender, so he has fucking bottles sticking out of his eyeballs or something. It's like, no, it's not supposed to be gags, you idiots. Like it's supposed to mean something. And this new fucking Hellraiser trailer looks like just
This looks
It's-
like
it's
a
fucking
Kickstarter.
brown. It is a poop brown shade when every movie before this has been like cold colors like grays, blues, like dark greens, stuff like that. It's supposed to look uninviting and miserable, but not in that way. It looks like Saw. And Saw
Thank
is
you.
colored the way it does because it's supposed to be everything's supposed to be intense. And Hellraiser's more of just like everything's fucking terrible. Nothing really needs to be emphasized. Like
Well, that was my biggest takeaway when I saw the trailer for the first time was this looks like someone took everything that you think you dislike about the Saw movies and put it in one film.
and then made a
No,
movie.
like, fucking jump cut, loud
Yeah.
music. What?
Yeah.
They also lost the idea of what Cenobites are. Like, oh, there's Pinhead, his classic like, it's a BDSM priest. That's basically his look, and
Yeah.
that kind of fits with all the rest of Cenobites going from their first appearance on until now, where we have guy in suit with cuts on face, fat man with baby mask, and Psycho Mantis.
Well, the guy with the cuts on his face, it looked like they took the psychologist from not Hellblazer, from Nightbreed, and just decided to throw him in there too.
Oh my God.
Like they just like, oh well, Clive Barker wrote Cabal. Let's just throw some of the characters from that.
And then they I think one of the biggest things disappointing about it was they modulated Pinhead's voice. And I'm like, great. So now you've sucked the like you effectively killed this character. Like now he means nothing because now you've shown that you don't care who's in that suit. You're gonna force it to work.
Got to hold on to those rights.
God damn you! Like, and then what I was getting about like fucking Hellraiser Revelations, like that is one of the worst recasting and redesigns I've ever seen. You took a very intimidating but subtle looking dude with Doug Bradley, who was kind of he's pretty normal looking. And you made him look downright evil, and everything about his character is his performance. He is divinely sadistic. He's very well spoken, and then you replace him with a chubby-cheeked guy who constantly stares wide-eyed at the camera and doesn't look scary at all.
Well, that's because they were holding a hamburger on a stick over by the camera. So.
Yeah. And as many people have pointed out, he looks just like Bobby Moynihan. It's not a joke. He looks just like Bobby Moynihan.
Yeah, it's really weird.
And
It makes me a little uncomfortable.
And then this new dude they got, there's nothing special about his look at all. And what sucks is because they suckered me in like last year by showing a production photo of him. And I'm like, it's filtered to hell and back, but he looks okay. And then I see it in motion, I'm like, no, this sucks. And on top of that, it looks like the entire thing was filmed in 4 different rooms in the same beat-up warehouse.
Well, I think the mistake that they made was thinking that the character of Pinhead was what people wanted, and they didn't understand you needed the original actor who was playing Pinhead for him to continue to be worthwhile.
There was a few years ago, we're actually getting longer than that now, a concept teaser was leaked online. If you haven't seen it, you should go look for it, like, immediately when we're done with this. I believe it was called Hellraiser Origins, and it was a quick concept trailer that slowly zoomed in on a reimagining of the they call it Hell, but it's also got a different name.
Sheol or something like that.
Of this dimension of just fucking suffering. And I think it's basically just this long panning shot of just people on top of people on top of people on top of people up until like it's basically like a pyramid to where like a new design Pinhead is standing there with like his blades and shit, and he says welcome to hell, and then it pans out again and there's this big elaborate Leviathan looking set behind him, and that was it. And I'm like, that's a really cool redesign of Hellraiser, and it never came to be.
No, because why would they? It would cost money.
Of course, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we got to make this movie.
We gotta make.
So here's the thing. I have no connection to Hellraiser.
This one.
This one, though.
But I feel Connor's pain because I am a huge fan of a film called The Howling from 1982.
God.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah,
I
get
understand.
it. I get that.
I understand exactly what Connor is going through.
Oh, no.
I
Yeah,
think
because the Howling
everybody-
sequels are...
I think everybody has a horror series that they're attached to that you look at with like disdain now because you're like,
Yep.
look what they fucking did to you.
I
Can we just this road real fast? There is another Texas Chainsaw Massacre reboot coming out.
Why?
The last movie that came out was a reboot,
What?
and the movie before that was a reboot.
Yeah, they did 3 reboots in a row because they don't give a fuck.
How many times can they tell the same story? Like, seriously?
I don't know. Halloween 2007.
And the last one called Leatherface, I tried watching. I didn't pay for it. I'm not even gonna lie. I stole it, and guess what? I didn't even finish it. Okay,
You returned it?
I couldn't be bothered to steal that movie.
I'm just
Alright.
imagining Connor frantically going back to Pirate Bay and he's going, how do I upload it back?
No, I download it. I don't want that piece of shit on my computer. I streamed that shit from somewhere. I don't want that. I don't want to own that at all.
The sad thing is that Connor, I bet if somebody gave you the money, you could make a better Leatherface movie.
In a heartbeat.
I think
In a
any of us
fucking
could.
heartbeat.
I think if the 4 of us had the money, we could make a kick-ass Leatherface movie. Set it in one location, and it's like at a motel, and Leatherface is going room to room, butchering people.
Watch
That's your
this.
Leatherface movie.
Watch this. How do you save Friday the 13th? Put it in the fucking snow.
Yeah.
There you go.
Hell yeah.
Winter setting. That's all you gotta do. That's the only thing different.
Also,
That's
my
cool as shit.
favorite like ever like reboot monster has been the reboot Jason, because he's just some crazy dude
I
who
don't
lives in
give
the
a
woods.
shit what anybody says about that movie. That movie is awesome.
No, the movie's
Yeah,
fucking
it's
great.
They took Kane Hodder, who's like Kane Hodder's scary, and then Ken Kersinger from Freddy vs. Jason is scarier because he's like, I think Kane Hodder described him as a monster of a man. I'm like, that is one monster telling another human being that he's also a monster. And then Derek Mears isn't from Earth. I'm convinced at this point. I don't know where he's from.
What is that
not
that Joe Rogan quote about Brock Lesnar? It's like, I'm not worried about Brock Lesnar murdering me. I'm worried about him using me. No, I'm not worried about Brock Lesnar like fucking me. I'm worried about him using me as a condom to fuck something bigger.
Yeah.
That's how I'm imagining Kane Hodder.
Derek Mears is this monster of a man who's also very physically fit and a lot quicker than Kane Hodder. So like him in that Friday the 13th remake, he's like a fucking decathlete.
Yeah.
Like he's shooting people in the face with a bow and arrow from the shoreline, being obscured by the woods.
Mhm.
Okay, with a hockey mask on. What?
He's terrifying. He's absolutely terrifying.
Running up on people. I'm like, that's a 7-foot man in a hockey mask running up to somebody.
Like,
No thanks.
So fans of Supernatural know who Jared Padalecki is, and even if you're not, you know who he is. Jared Padalecki is 6 feet tall. Okay.
Oh my God, I didn't know he was 6 feet tall.
Derek
I'm taller than
Mears towers over him, so he's extra terrifying when you
Derek
know
Mears
that.
is a scary dude.
Like he and if I remember correctly, he faces Jared Padalecki, like he smashes his face into the concrete at one point. I don't think he kills him.
They have a brawl. No, like
They have a full on brawl. It's fucking
that movie's
great.
great because the physicality of that movie is insane because they managed to condense Friday 1 through 4 into a single experience.
Mm-hmm.
With dozens of deaths. Like that movie has over 13 kills, I think.
Yeah.
Jesus,
And
really?
yes,
lot of murder.
the carnage in that movie is almost nonstop, and it's like people are being hung upside down in sleeping bags and burned to death.
Yeah.
People are being broken in half. Caitlin Snow gets stabbed. It was horrifying. I hated that
really
part.
Like they kill people you don't expect to die at all.
No. Yeah. It was the first Friday the 13th death where I was like, no.
Yeah.
Not the sweetest human being on earth.
Yeah.
And then they have a Bill Braun at the end. It's good shit. Where's I go? I love the fact that Jared Padalecki and Padalecki, whatever his name is.
Padalecki.
Him and Jensen Ackles were both
I
in
love that too.
major horror remakes back-to-back months the same year.
They had a summer off and they were like, what
Have
should we
you-
do?
Have you seen the My Bloody Valentine remake? Have you seen that?
First of all, the original My Bloody Valentine is one of my favorite slasher films of all time.
Have you seen it?
The
The remake?
is fucking awesome.
It's really good. I saw it on Sci-Fi
so good.
in maybe freshman year. No, it was around junior year. Yeah, that movie.
And if you're a horror nut, like there's parts of that, there's things about that movie that kind of they're really playing to you because that movie is basically the cobbled together pieces of a sequel that never happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I we have all these ideas. Let's just put him here. Like Tommy being the killer was supposed to be the plot of the second movie. In the original, Axel is the killer.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I appreciate the hell out of that remake, and it's fucking fun. It's gory as shit. What's his face from Halloween 3 gets his jaw ripped off with a pickaxe, and it flies into the screen.
Jason Ackles does the most insane performance I've ever seen in that movie.
He's really good.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Yeah, former Smallville star also.
Oh my god.
He also
I
like
wonder
one
if
more
he's
thing
part of
about
Chloe's sex cult.
Oh god.
one more thing about Jensen is that he has the same like John Bernthal thing where he just grunts a lot.
He does.
Yeah,
He
it's
loves
okay.
to grunt.
I didn't know it was him in Under the Red Hood for a long time.
Yep,
Oh,
that's him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then I was blown away because he's really good.
I guess we can move to some happier news, sort of
Let's
in the
move
same.
to New Mutants.
Well, we could do. I was thinking we could do the Brian Fuller thing, but that works too.
What is okay? What's the Brian Fuller thing? I feel like I missed this.
So Brian Fuller earlier this week, and I'm excited about this. it was announced that he is going to be working with Anne Rice.
What does that mean? He's leaving.
So it was a while ago. They announced he was leaving.
American Gods.
American Gods. That's right.
Well,
and,
R.I.P.
Yeah, I'm not watching American Gods anymore. I'm just not. Just because. And also, I don't want to know what happened behind the scenes. At this point, I do think it is. I think it's
It was
him.
budgetary.
Well, that's always his problem, though. I think at some point it becomes, can't you do it with the budget that you've been given? At some point, like,
Yeah.
can't
Why don't you just work with what you have? Like,
right, like, I know that there are other producers who could do a passable show with that budget and be fine, and you can't just expect NBC money for every show you do. But that said, he's been put on the Anne Rice television sort of reboot verse of the Vampire Chronicles, I think it's called. So it's her vampire universe.
And he'll leave after 2 seasons.
Well, yeah, but for 2 seasons,
He'll leave after 1.
presumably we are going to get the producer of Hannibal, his version of Lestat, and his version of those characters from the Anne Rice world. Everything about that sounds good to me.
except he'll never finish it.
No, he'll never finish it. But we'll get 2 seasons, and they'll probably be really, really fucking good.
Well, I wonder if they're just going to recycle the plot they originally had planned for the Lestat movie.
Possibly. I don't know.
I'm so fucking bummed that American Gods is going to be over because of this, though.
It's not going to be over. It'll go on for like 5 seasons.
It's gonna be over to me.
It's over to me, too. But
Well, Cinemax made the announcement that, Neil Gaiman's going to be our showrunner, and then he quickly said, "No, I'm not."
because Neil Gaiman's never Neil Gaiman, he doesn't have very much TV credit. The only 2 TV credits that come to mind are his Doctor Who episodes, which are about 50-50 as far as I'm concerned. He's got one good episode, which is the episode with the TARDIS being a woman. That's a great episode.
I love that episode.
Yes.
Hunter, you should watch that episode just in
And
itself.
also the episode with the Cybermen when you brought back the old school Cybermen, which is it's a bad episode.
Okay.
Well, if I remember, there was also an adaptation of his one book, Everywhere.
I think so.
I think it was just a BBC production. It wasn't very good, but I think he was directly involved with that.
Yeah, like Neil Gaiman's TV credits not great. So I wouldn't be too excited about him keeping on with American Gods. But I've processed the American Gods information, and I also saw it coming. I was like, there's no way he's staying on for too long. But I'm not the biggest fan of Interview with the Vampire, but I like that world. Yeah. And
I'm just curious if Anne Rice is going to try and shoehorn in her new Christianity into the series.
Well, maybe. I don't know.
Because she's born again. Like, she is full on.
Her reason for going away from movies, because they were going to try and do a new movie series, is because she couldn't go as violent as she wanted to.
What?
They couldn't go even as violent as Interview with the Vampire is. An Interview with a Vampire, I don't know if anybody's seen it recently. It's
pretty violent.
It's it's something.
They go there. You get to see Antonio Banderas' head get cut in half. Spoilers.
I like that movie.
Yeah.
I like that movie.
So
I do remember a lot of arterial spray in that movie. It's been a couple years since I've seen it, but there's quite a bit.
Yeah. But I don't know. I'm excited about that. I'm very excited about that, even though it's not my favorite thing. But vampires, Bryan Fuller, I'm in. Count me in. So I don't know if anybody has any other stronger feelings against or for it, but
I mean, I'm open to it. I've never finished Interview with the Vampire, and I have no connection to that universe. But hey, why the fuck not?
Yeah, fuck it. Let's do it.
Okay.
Now you sound like Sony making a Venom movie.
Next on the list is the Black Widow trailer that they put out this week. Oh, never mind. I got that wrong.
You mean
Oh, okay.
Red Sparrow?
You mean the grand theft that I fucking saw this moments before we recorded?
Yeah.
There is like a let's say 20% possibility that this trailer is just cut in a way to make it look like Black Widow.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it's pretty flagrant.
All right, so you're saying 20? Maybe there's a 20% chance the way it's cut. That doesn't change the fact that 100% of the content is Black Widow's backstory.
No, that's what I'm saying.
They changed the name and the actress. That's it.
What are you doing?
Charlotte Rampling is playing the character from the Ultron flashbacks.
No,
Like,
and it's offensive. Like,
Yeah.
it's. I mean, it's shameful. It's so shameful. There's not even words for it. Like,
but you kind of have to be angry at Marvel a little bit because it's like, well,
It took him how long?
It took him forever, and it's weird.
it took them
because
how long? It took them how long to say we're talking about it?
It took the second trailer coming out for them to even announce that, for them to announce that they were looking for a new writer. That's how long it took.
All right, well, something to feed the crazy conspiracy people. I'm wondering, like, if Fox greenlit this and pushed it so quickly because they kind of knew what was coming down the line. Like, hey, let's
Maybe.
get this out as a fuck you to Disney before they purchase us.
Possibly. I mean, maybe they buy this and then they incorporate it into the Marvel Cinematic Universe somehow. Because
And
that's a
yeah.
move. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, they could just claim it was a story of another person who was trained the same way that Black Widow was. But
Here's what
Yeah.
happens. I imagine this all taking place in an office between two gentlemen. One of them looks at the other one and says, "I've purchased this film." And he picks up like a Red Sparrow. It just says Red Sparrow in the DVD box. Who cares? And he says, "Here's what's gonna happen with it." And he just drops it into a paper shredder. And it's like, there. There's no such thing as Red Sparrow. Get out of my office.
Yeah. Hey,
I'm just imagining like Marvel sending in like a task force to like whatever studio's office this movie is like.
Frank Grillo just shows up at their front porch in his Crossbones attire.
I mean, like we were saying before, why don't they sue them? Well, it's because they're buying the company, so that's why they
Exactly.
don't sue them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
yeah.
It's so
yeah, I
weird.
mean, you wouldn't sue your steak. Like, you're about to eat that
Right.
shit.
Yeah. I mean, they could sue them and bring the price down, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. But here's the thing. Despite the fact that it feels like stealing, I think the trailer looks good, so that's a good sign, I guess.
Oh, yeah, no, I definitely am interested in seeing the movie, but the whole time it's just gonna be like, this is Scarlet, or not Scarlet Witch. This is Black Widow.
Yeah.
That's Black Widow doing
Yeah.
that stuff.
They're
Why
saying,
is
they're
this-
saying about Jennifer Lawrence's fake Russian accent's a little off-putting, but
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
I'm from the motherland.
It's not even as convincing as Scarlet doing a Russian accent. Like, it's at all. I don't know.
I mean, look, not everyone can be as good as I want my beard, okay?
I want my third.
Where's my beard? What do you mean, my beard?
Oy.
I don't think there's anything left to say about that trailer, though.
Yeah.
Do we want to go over any X-Men stuff?
That's we
Yeah.
can. So there's a lot of X-Men stuff. I'll just list off, and if maybe I forgot something, but the main stories are Tim Miller, Kitty Pryde, New Mutants is moving, and then Deadpool is also moving, and they kind of switched places.
So
Here's-
I feel like I woke up from a coma. I think Thursday or Friday. So I open my phone and I see things like Dark Souls Remaster and Tim Miller's Kitty Pryde, and I feel like I've been asleep for a week.
Mm-hmm.
When did the second of those things happen?
So that was
That happened
Last-
like Monday, I thought.
was it really? I thought it was Saturday.
Maybe
God.
it happened.
I didn't-
It happened recently enough for me to group it in with the other X-Men news.
Yeah, I knew nothing about it.
But it comes with like a bunch of announcements that they made. I think the biggest one that's most newsworthy is actually the New Mutant stuff, because that movie was
But,
done.
like, So
Yeah.
here's my thing about that. People are like freaking out about it. I don't
Yeah.
think it's that big a deal.
No,
Here's
I don't think
I
it
stopped
is.
I stopped freaking out about it because I read a piece of news that, if true, instilled me with optimism. So they tested it, and it tested well,
Yeah.
and they said, do some reshoots. Let's build on more of this horror stuff.
Yeah. They wanted to make it scarier.
I was like, oh, really?
I am.
They wanted to make
I
it
am
scarier, which is interesting.
I was like,
100%
Fox.
on
I was
board.
like, Fox, stop flirting with me. This is embarrassing.
yeah.
I
Like,
was supposed to be mad at you.
saying that you want to make it scarier
Fucking furious.
is fine.
Stop this.
Yeah. We all want to be angry at Fox. All of us.
And they keep doing this, and I
Don't let me do
can't.
this.
Yeah. And then they moved Deadpool forward, which is fine, I guess.
Cool.
Who cares?
Like,
Who cares at this point? It's gonna make millions.
it does feel
yeah.
like okay, we're gonna give you the sugar, and then we're gonna give you, then we're gonna give you the new X-Men movie, which
Then we're gonna
looks
scare the shit out of you.
which looks terrible. I'm sorry. This is gonna be Apocalypse Part 2. I was all on board with Simon Kinberg. Fuck him. Fuck this movie.
Listen to me when I say that fucking those movies are awful and they should stop making them.
Mhm.
And yeah, the buyout sucks, but the one like tiny salvation I have is that those movies are going to die.
Mhm.
Like
Here's what I've talked about over and over again that I can't get over. It's like you motherfuckers, like, not even a breath ago, it feels like, just did Dark Phoenix. You didn't call it Dark Phoenix, but you fucking did Dark Phoenix.
You
Yeah.
put it in
You're-
all the advertising,
You're
and then you
just
sold
gonna do it
everybody out.
again? Like, you're just gonna do it again? Fuck
Mhm.
you. That's why I'm mad at you, Fox.
Yeah.
I'm still disappointed in Fox because they've just wasted so much potential with the X-Men. Like, they had such a good ball rolling with the first two X-Men films, and then they just decided,
And then they
whatever.
got it back. They got it back because First Class, Days of Futures Past, Deadpool, The Wolverine, Logan. And that's like a
But
that's a
see, I would even argue
respectable
that
chunk of movies.
I would even argue that the Wolverine and Logan are so far removed from the other X-Men films because it's relying on a single actor. It's not
Right.
a group. It's not the unity of the students all coming together.
But even then,
And-
like, they did get the ball back because I think First Class and Days of Futures Past, like, I think are good enough, just those two by themselves.
First Class
um,
is great. I honestly did not like Days of Future Past.
Yeah,
Really?
same. I've always
that
been on. Nah, yeah,
It-
I've always been on the camp of it's a bad movie.
Yeah,
I don't like it.
I don't think it's very good. Yeah.
Futures Past works as a retcon, but I don't think it's one of my favorite X-Men movies.
See, I
Yeah.
think it's actually a pretty shitty retcon because that does so many things that just they deliberately avoid answering very.
Oh yeah, no
common
doubt,
questions.
no doubt. But it's like they
Um,
had to erase X3.
I just think it's a great little X-Men story. I think I liked watching Xavier kind of go through that, and when Patrick Stewart was talking to James McAvoy on screen, I'm like, this is fucking magic.
I'm not going to say there
are
are
parts
moments
of it.
Yeah, there are moments that are good. I think a lot of people got caught up in those moments, but the movie as a whole doesn't work. Like, if you remove the scene you're talking about, the Patrick Stewart scene, and if you remove the Quicksilver scene, what in that movie stands out as interesting?
Magneto dropping a football stadium in the White
Yeah,
House.
I didn't care about that.
I did.
didn't.
That was awesome.
Because for one, I don't like the redesign of his costume at all. Fuck that redesign.
No.
It's really boring. Why does his costume look like rocks?
Why wouldn't it?
It looks like granite. I don't understand.
They had the perfect costume for him at the end of First Class. Like,
Yeah.
that was perfect.
Also-
and then they decided, nah.
It felt, for me, it felt like Bryan Singer, he saw the end of First Class and he thought what made Magneto getting that submarine out of the water cool was the fact that he got the submarine out of the water. He completely
yeah.
misunderstood that scene. What made that scene special is that was the culmination of Magneto's arc. That was his story culminating. That was him gaining control of his abilities and finally being strong enough to take on the person who killed his mother. That's why that scene is important and cool. him just raising a stadium to raise a stadium is not cool. It is no cooler than him raising the Golden Gate Bridge. Period.
Well, let's be completely honest here. Like, at least for myself, Days of Future Past was when I kind of realized, oh, Bryan Singer isn't very good with action scenes, and he's not as good a director as I think a lot of people think he was.
And I didn't
or
actually
is.
thought Bryan Singer was a good director.
I mentioned the football thing.
Usual
That's
suspects.
actually it's one of my favorite visual things. But like, I like Days of Future Past because it takes Wolverine and makes him not the lead action star because he's fucking useless in that time period without his medal. So
You're
he's
right
there
about
as
that part.
kind of this kind of pivot, and I find that very interesting. I liked this stuff. I liked more of the stuff that was happening when there wasn't action stuff going on.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that, and I do like the stuff with.
I liked it as this sad back and forth, the fucking future where everybody's getting killed is horrifying.
Mm-hmm.
And I did like this sad back and forth of like an old Professor X trying to convince his younger self, like, you need to stop carrying this fucking hurt around with you all the time and be the man I know you can be, and be the man that, our friend knows you can be, who's with you right now.
Yeah, I agree that stuff is good. I just think as a movie, as a whole, I don't think it works that well. And I think Jennifer Lawrence is sleepwalking through the entire movie.
Yeah, she's phoning it in. Yeah.
Really hard. And also, Peter Dinklage is in the movie, and he's so underused in the movie the entire time. I don't know.
Dinklage. Let's just not show him half the movie.
Yeah, and
let's just have him not do anything.
He's just playing a businessman. That's it, really.
He kind of plays it's his Bolivar Trask is like Ted from Scrubs. He's like a sad sack.
Yeah, there's nothing interesting about him.
Be happy.
I don't know.
Can you imagine he goes to a meeting and he's like, here's my blueprints for the Sentinel project. Someone's like, your pen is leaking on your shirt, and he's like, oh. No.
I completely agree with what Arlen said, though. It had moments of brilliance, but there just wasn't enough glue to hold the entire film together. As a whole.
I like it all the same. It was, I think, one of my favorite movies of that year. But X-Men Apocalypse, I haven't even finished fucking X-Men Apocalypse. I have no idea how the movie ends.
Oh, really? You haven't finished it?
The Phoenix Manifests.
Oh, I'm. What?
Yeah. You haven't gotten to the point where Quicksilver should 100% tell Magneto that he is his son, and doesn't tell him that he's his son. And there's this whole entire setup of, he's going to tell him he's his son, and then Magneto's going to turn, right? He's going to turn face, or whatever. That's going to happen. No, he doesn't. He just... there's all these little things. There are these moments in that movie.
Remember
that
when
should happen.
The movie introduced Nazis and then just fucking... I swear to God, those guys are Nazis. And, they just drop it and never talk about it ever again.
Remember when Magneto destroys Auschwitz?
Yeah.
That thing that happens where he goes to Auschwitz and destroys it because that's respectful of the people who were at Auschwitz.
He's like, no, I'm really mad though.
Remember when they introduced Psylocke and had no idea how her powers actually work?
So there's shoot Olivia Munn in an attractive way.
Can we fast track fucking?
Here's the thing.
X-Men Apocalypse.
I'm willing to break the 10-year rule once a year. So that's what I'll say. And that movie, it needs it because we need to tear that movie apart.
Yeah.
I need to vent on that movie.
I was told that Olivia Munn passed on Deadpool to play Vanessa to be Psylocke in X-Men Apocalypse.
But why?
Because she chose the wrong.
Because I'm being told, I gotta look this up, but allegedly it's because she didn't want to be a damsel in distress.
Oh,
I'm like,
wow.
That's not what Vanessa is, though.
No, I think you're correct. It's some sort of permutation of that.
I think they didn't have a script, so she just assumed that that's what it would be. Jeez.
Imagine being Olivia Munn, in Deadpool, opening night, just watching that movie and just being like, oh no.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Actually, that was probably her response the first night she saw X-Men Age of Apocalypse.
She tries to kill Morena Baccarat.
then she's like, "Damn it, you're married to Jim Gordon." What a weird cross-pollination of stuff that is.
But yeah, we started off with the Kitty Pryde thing. I don't know, Tim Miller, Kitty Pryde. I'm in. I like Deadpool enough.
Yeah, why not? Fuck it. Let's see how it goes.
I mean, I'd rather see that than his Sonic movie. So.
Okay,
I want to see the Sonic.
Someone has to offer me some details on this. What do you mean at Tim Miller?
So Tim Miller is making a live-action Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
No, I'm done.
Yeah.
I quit.
Yeah.
Because it's Tim Miller, and it's like, what happens with any director who gets big or who has like a hit? They get offered a bunch of stuff, and some of it they say yes to, even though it will never happen.
Well, he's just producing it, though. That's the thing. He's not directing it.
Yes, you get your name slatted onto a lot of things, especially when you make a movie like Deadpool.
Did you see that thing? Oh, this is kind of off topic, but did you see that thing about the Detective Pichu movie? How Ryan Reynolds is going to be playing Pikachu?
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I still want
I
Danny
remember
DeVito.
that being a thing.
What? And I was reading something today, and other people like who are considered like Mark Wahlberg and The Rock.
Oh God! Here's the thing.
I love this movie already.
I want to see the Mark Wahlberg version.
Oh, hi.
Hey guys, Pika Pika.
Oh my God,
All right.
Pika, Ash, don't do that, Pokeball me. I'll shove it up your ass, okay?
Articuno.
I want him to go full Boston.
What you got? Magic Rock for the Gyarados. What's up?
If you get me angry, I'm going to punch you so hard your eyeball will come out.
Well, wasn't it an Asian man that he actually did that to?
Yes, yes.
Oh, God.
Before he was a rapper, when he was just a drug dealer, he punched a Vietnamese man until his eyeball came out.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's bad for that dude, but that's hilarious.
That's fucking hardcore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is the same man who says he could have stopped 9/11. So
I would have been on that plane.
I'd have fought those planes, bro.
I could have fought the planes.
Let's the Mark Wahlberg impression like peaks when you do his character from The Happening, because it is
Oh man.
it's the one time where like Family Guy's portrayal of someone is so 100% painfully accurate, because like Mark Wahlberg spends 100% of The Happening looking just constantly perplexed and alarmed and confused, and doesn't react to anything the right way.
My favorite thing about that movie.
He's being shot in the background. He's like, "Give me a second." Everyone's like, "No, we gotta go right now." He's like, "Let me think for a minute. God, leave me alone. Jesus Christ, man."
My favorite thing is he's supposed to be an academic and just a normal, generic white guy. He's not supposed to be a Boston guy. He's not supposed to be like a down and dirty guy, which is, let's be honest, what he's the best at playing, because he's just really good at it.
He constantly, the Happening, he has one facial expression. He looks like someone who showed up to like a surprise birthday party and suddenly realized he forgot the gift of honor's present. Like, he just looks like I'm fucked the whole time.
I love. Remember that? What was that line about the hot dogs in The Happening?
Oh, I can't fucking remember.
It was like we got plenty of hot dogs or something like that.
No, you're lying to me. You're trying to kill me. No. No,
We're just eating hot dogs. Trees don't need hot dogs.
Really. I mean, I'm not trying to kill you. It's okay.
We don't have to worry. The ferns don't eat hot dogs. When we go get.
But maybe they do. Maybe we should give the ferns
M. Night
hot
Shyamalan
dogs.
so highly nowadays.
Well, I mean, he made up for it, I guess. So
He was also.
Remember when they put his name in that movie Devil?
people laughed
Dude,
hard.
They bet a killer elevator.
Oh, well, it's also, we discussed this in a prior episode, but I mean, he was given an enormous ego very quickly by a lot of reputable sources, and kind of given carte blanche, and nobody was telling him no, I think.
Well,
so he's just like, yeah, I'll do this.
When Time Magazine calls you the next Steven Spielberg,
Exactly.
It's going insane is inevitable.
Here's what happens when you start slapping someone's name on some stuff by over-acknowledging their talents. Now, the person I'm going to bring up, I admire a lot. Well, okay, I admire his body of work. It's Quentin Tarantino.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because having just watched Sukiyaki Western Django, movie dumpster,
Ugh.
and
Ooh.
seeing him in this fucking movie because he's getting by on being Quentin Tarantino, you get disaster sequences like Quentin Tarantino doing Yellow Voice for about 5 minutes, where he's
That
going
dude-
the sound of the what the hell, that's exactly what he's doing.
I don't
No.
understand. Like, Quentin Tarantino is one of those guys where, like, I respect that. I love his movies. I really do. But then he just, like, sometimes he opens his mouth and, like, just shut the fuck up. Like, fuck you.
Yeah.
I remember. I'm trying to remember which movie it was after. I think it was his third or fourth big release, and he had dropped the N-word a few times, like in
Pulp
public.
Fiction?
Maybe it was after Pulp Fiction, actually. Like during interviews, like he had dropped the N-word a few times, and like
Maybe
there were a
after
lot of
Jackie
people-
Brown, possibly.
I don't think it was after Jackie Brown. I think it might have been after Pulp Fiction, but just there were definitely a few interviews I saw with him, and he was dropping the N-word rather liberally, and a lot of people were kind of like, "Hey, Quentin, maybe you should shut the fuck up."
Hey, Quentin, maybe you should, like, shut your fucking mouth.
But you know, someone comes out, you're like, that man is a filmmaking genius,
Right.
and is arguably very intelligent. At least seems so. But then, like, he comes out and does something, and like, the whole world just kind of has no other choice but to just like corpse and go along with it. Because you're like, you're at this point, you're Quentin Tarantino. What's someone gonna say to you that would make you change what you do? Nothing.
Yeah. I mean, this is a man who puts the fact that he has a foot fetish into every movie he makes. So
Yeah, pretty much.
it's-
This is the same man who insisted that he be the one to strangle Diane Kruger in *Inglourious Bastards*.
Right.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't convinced by Christoph Waltz's performance.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember one of his directions was just pretend that it's like I was actually choking you to death. Which is a great bit of direction. It's just great.
One of my favorite
Yeah.
bits about directing came from Sam Jackson talking about. Oh, and actually, it's funny because it's in reference to Tarantino. They said, "What's working with Tarantino like versus working with George Lucas?" And he says, "With Tarantino, he'll tell you he's like, all right, you're gonna walk in here like this guy from this movie, and then talk to him like this guy from this movie, and do that like this from this movie, and blah blah blah." And I'm like, got it. He says, and you go to George Lucas, and he's like, all right. Puts me in a big green screen and goes, all right, there's a big scary monster behind you. It's real scary. Really, George, is it real scary? Because I can't see it. How scary is it?
I don't know.
It's
All right, trust me.
It's the scariest monster of all time, okay? It's the scary monster is the white slavers that I sold Star Wars to, okay? Disney.
Oh.
And Steven Spielberg is like, sweat so much that your cigarette is sweating.
That's actually, you know what? That's great.
Oh my god.
Hold on to your butts.
Holy shit.
Hold on to your butts. Do you think? Okay. Do you think, like, during Jurassic Park, like, Steven Spielberg and Sam Jackson were just took a step back and be like, wow, the idea of this movie is kind of crazy, kind of dumb.
Probably.
Yeah.
Sam Jackson says the line, hold on to your butts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but like it's in between him doing a hacker sequence where Wayne Knight's fucking floppy head shows up and says, you didn't say the magic word.
True.
Oh yeah.
What the fuck? Like, I love that movie, don't get me wrong, but what the fuck?
And a young girl, she hacks the entire place because that's a thing.
She's a hack.
Yeah.
I forgot all about that. What the fuck? Is that more embarrassing or less embarrassing than beating a velociraptor with gymnastics?
I feel like that's less, but only like
It was during a more
small
innocent
amount.
time.
It's more of a knock against like human error because like you design your entire mainframe to be able to be cracked by a 13-year-old.
Well,
Poo on you. Just watch
Jurassic
Sony
Park-
do this. Never mind.
Jurassic Park 2, I mean, I might be reading into this more than I should, but part of the reason why Ian's daughter is black is because Steven Spielberg in real life has adopted, I believe, at least 2 black kids.
I thought that was George Lucas.
It might be George Lucas also.
George
but,
Lucas is like, she's gotta be African American.
But like he made The Color Purple because of his kids.
Okay.
Wait, really?
Yeah, partially,
Okay.
and
That's commendable. I get it.
and it's part of why he did Amadeus, or not Amadeus, Amistad.
That's
It's easy. You can all see why I
That's
confused
very-
those two.
Dude, I
I'm
watched
just a-
Amadeus in high school and fucking hated it, and I feel like if I went back and rewatched it, I would probably love it.
It's actually a really great movie.
I just had a really bad vision of all of the slaves on Amistad with large powdered wigs while they're
I'm
the boat.
actually, I'll do you one better. I'm imagining all the slaves on the Amistad singing Amadeus by Falco.
No. This is. I thought the episode where I pitched Schindler's List 2 with Batman was gonna put us on a trial.
Well,
But
by
this is
mentioning
definitely
it,
not the one.
by mentioning it, you're bringing it into this, so you're compounding it.
That's right. That's right.
Also, officially the longest After Dark we've ever done. So congratulations.
God.
Is there anything else you want to talk about?
Oh my god.
This is great.
We're terrible people.
We really are.
Yeah,
Oh man, I don't care.
we're monsters
Yes.
made flesh.
Man. I'm gonna enjoy listening back to that in a few weeks, just like I did enjoy listening to me saying my butthole is burning.
God damn it.
That was wonderful.
Hunter, you're like your knee jerk, like indignation with me.
Instant.
Where you sing it.
I was just mad. I was just like, why?
No hesitation. Just straight to anger.
You're like, okay, all right, you know what? Like,
You know, a joke is too far when I'm the one who's like, all right, guys, maybe we should take a step back.
I mean, on that horrible joke that I'm sure I hope one brings up any more important times of my life, I think we can wrap.
Yeah.
I think so too.
Hi, I'm Connor McGraw. This has been a very loopy episode of Phantoms and After Dark. Movie Dumpster's probably out, but oh no, wait, never mind. I'm not talking about from the future like I was in the last episode.
Nope.
Movie Dumpster's coming out soon. Yay!
Yeah. So you don't follow me on Twitter. I've established fuck Twitter. You can follow me on Instagram, StrokeOutMillionaire. You can find my Snapchat somehow. I'm issuing a challenge. You can find my Snapchat. I will add you.
What a prize.
Yeah, there you go. And that's it.
At AA Haro most of the places, but I don't really check Twitter, so there's no point. SpaceColumbo.timeloader.com. That's the place where I'm probably the most active. Join the group. Subscribe to the YouTube. Phantom Zone Phantom Zone podcast on YouTube should be easy to find. Yes, tell your friends about the show. PhantomZone.wordpress.com. So.
Like normal, you can find me on Erik_Fedor on Instagram, pictures of dogs and things like that. And
I'd also like to tell you about the sound-operated
No.
nucleic interference cloud. And the
That you can get rid
knowledge-altering
of by buying patented Alex
Don't do it,
Jones
Rob.
vests.
the knowledge-altering command kill line entry system, otherwise known as Sonic and Knuckles. Beware of these.
No.
This is a great episode.
Buy our lead-laced steaks. That's right, packages laced in lead to protect from nuclear radiation. Alex
There are
Jones.
gay frogs and blue hedgehogs that are coming for you.
I have lost the meal.
This episode is longer than a Romero special.
Yes. Yes.
I hope you're all proud of yourself.
I'm remembering a dead man.
Now we're just commemorating.
We're drunk.
God.
oh goodness. Bye everybody.
All right. See you later, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.